Before designing a staircase, the first thing we must do is to decide the size of the riser and the size of the tread. As I have already discussed in my previous lectures, tread is the top horizontal surface of a step over which foot is placed while ascending or descending a stairway, and riser is the vertical member of a step that provides support and connection between successive treads. In this lecture, I am going to discuss how to decide the minimum space required for a staircase. If we need to design a staircase for a residential building, the minimum size of the riser should be kept 6 to 7.5 inches or simply 150 to 190 mm with a minimum tread size of 10 inches or 250 mm, and the minimum width of the flight to be kept between 3 feet to 3.5 feet or 0.9 meter to 1.1 meter. On the other hand, if we need the staircase for a commercial building, the minimum size of the riser should be kept between 5 inches to 6 inches or 120 to 150 mm with a minimum tread size of 12 inches or 300 mm, and the minimum width of the flight to be kept between 5 feet to 6 feet or 1.5 meter to 1.8 meter. Let's take the case of a residential building in which we need to construct a staircase with a 3 meter floor height. Let's take the size of its riser equal to 150 mm, size of tread equal to 250 mm, and the width of its flight equal to 1 meter. The height of the first flight must be kept 7 feet or more or around 2.1 meter from the ground floor to utilize the space beneath it for some other purposes, or you can keep both the flights at equal heights depending on your need. So we have height of flight 1 equal to 2.1 meter or 2100 mm, height of flight 2 equal to total floor height minus height of flight 1, that is 3 meter minus 2.1 meter, which will be equal to 0.9 meter. For flight 1, the number of risers will be calculated by using the formula height of flight upon height of riser. Height of flight 1 is 2100 mm and height of riser is 150 mm. On substituting these values, the number of risers for flight 1 will be equal to 14. Number of treads will be equal to number of risers minus 1, that is 14 minus 1, which will be equal to 13. Total length required for all treads will be equal to number of treads into size of each tread, that is 13 into 250, which will be equal to 3250 mm. For flight 2, the number of risers will be equal to height of flight 2 upon height of riser. Height of flight 2 is 900 mm and height of riser is 150 mm. On substituting these values, the number of risers for flight 2 will be equal to 6. Number of treads for flight 2 will be equal to number of risers minus 1, that is 6 minus 1, which will be equal to 5. Total length required for all treads will be equal to number of treads into size of tread, that is 5 into 250. The space between two flights should be kept between 114 to 150 mm. Let's take this as 150 mm. The minimum width of landing should be kept greater or equal to the width of flight. So the width of landing will be equal to 1 meter. Now we need to calculate the total length required for the staircase, which is given by total tread length of flight 1 plus width of landing. Total tread length is already calculated as 3250 mm and width of landing is 1000 mm. On substituting these values, the total length required for this staircase will be equal to 4250 mm or 4.25 meter. The total width required for this staircase will be equal to width of flight 1 plus width of flight 2 plus spacing between two flights. Width of both the flights is 1000 mm and spacing between two flights is taken as 150 mm. On substituting these values, The total width required for this staircase will be 2.15 meter. Hence, the area required for this staircase will have a length of 4.25 meter and width 2.15 meter. So, this was all about this lecture. If you like my content, please subscribe my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates in future. Thank you.